Alright, so this video didn't go exactly as I had intended from the beginning. I'm still gonna play the intro and the first part that I had of this video, but there's a couple things that I want to address, some issues that I had building this PC, and these issues, they might be helpful for you if you are switching from a Mac to a PC, building your own PC like I did. There's a couple things that you will want to keep in mind, and I want to address those later on in this video. Like I said, I'm gonna play the first half. If you just want to skip to the recommendations, I'm gonna leave a timestamp so you can just go there. But otherwise, enjoy this video. Hello everyone, I hope you're all doing okay. My name is Irbin and today I'm gonna try to build my first PC. Emphasis on try because I've never done this before. Of course, it's my first build. But anyways, I wanted to share my experience from an Apple user. I'm an Apple user. I've been using Apple MacBooks since 2011. My last computer is a 2014 MacBook Pro. I got it for school. I was able to do whatever I needed to do on it without any problem. When I got it, I did do some photography, but not anything big. In recent years, I started taking photography and videography more serious. So I was working in bigger projects with bigger files, shooting and editing 4K videos and even 4K raw footage. So, you know, that computer was able to handle it, but it was just too slow, and I'm trying to reduce my time that it takes to edit and render videos. So hopefully this will be a huge upgrade. I did my research for what pieces to get. I also got help from people on the PC build parts website. I don't remember the website, but on their forum I got some help from some people, and this is the build that I decided to go for. This video is not intended to be a tutorial, it's just to share my experience on building my first PC as an Apple user and as a video editor. So this build is geared more towards video editing, not a gaming PC. So that's the basis of this video. I hope you guys like it, and let's get started. So I did get an anti-static bracelet just because I want to be on the safe side. I know some people don't use them, especially more experienced people, but I want to be on the safe side, and maybe by my 10th build I have a lot more confidence with all this. So for my CPU, I went for an AMD Ryzen 7 3700X.
It's going to be tight, and then you want to line up that little tab, press it on each corner and turn. Once it's in, it should be.
Which ones I need. The ones that are connected are the standard essentials that most people will be using anyway. We're going to need power with this SATA plug. Hopefully we wire things properly. This cable's long enough.
I think I got it all connected, all ready to go. I'm gonna try and do get it to post, get the Windows thing on it. That was a lot harder than I expected. I watched a lot of videos, they make it seem very easy, but there's a lot of subtle things that are different in every single thing. So I had to go back and forth between the manuals, looking at stuff online, and It was tough, I gotta say. The cable management isn't very good, so I'll work on that later. But I think I got everything connected. I think I got everything ready to go. And well, I'll just update you in the next part of the video. All right, so I finally finished it and it's right here. I have it right alongside my MacBook, and you know, I like it. It's been a week actually since I finished it, and I really do like the performance. I have done a couple projects by now, and the export times have been reduced drastically. I used to leave a video exporting throughout the day, and I would play with the guitar or do something, and now I cannot do that anymore. So if I want to practice the guitar, I have to make time for it, and it's not going to be able to work like it used to. But anyways, that's a good thing, because now I can export and do more video related stuff, which is the main reason why I decided to upgrade. One of the things that I noticed switching to PC is that there's a lot of updates that have to be done, drivers, and you know, in the motherboard, the BIOS, but that's more specific to building your own PC. And it's just something that as an Apple user, I never thought about the updates. Obviously we had updates too, but I don't know, it's more like in the background, and we never had to worry about the drivers and all that, graphics card and all that. So it's something that, you know, it's new for me and something that I'm adjusting to. And one of the things that I don't really like about Windows, but you know, I'll get used to it. It's not a big deal, but it's something that I did notice. Now, I did want to address a couple things in regards to switching from Mac to PC, like I said at the beginning. And those two things, there's really just two things, two major things. One of them is about getting a bootable drive for Windows 10. So the way it's supposed to work, if you want to download Windows, you can do it. On the Microsoft website, you can download a copy of Windows 10, put it into a drive, plug it into your new computer, and boot from that. However, from a MacBook, it doesn't work like that. The process is a lot more complicated. And to be honest, to be fair, they do have a tool or kind of a guide for it, but it didn't work for me. You know, I think maybe it's outdated or something and they just don't put much attention to it. But I had to go through a lot of different processes, and I found a guy on YouTube that helped me do it, and I'm gonna link his video. If you're coming from a MacBook, switching over to PC, getting that bootable drive, it's gonna be a lot more complicated than on a Windows. On a Windows, you can just put it on a drive, you know, run the program, put it there, connect it, and it's all good. So what I would recommend if you're switching from a MacBook and you do not have any Windows computer available, I would recommend that you buy a copy of the Windows 10 with the USB, right? So that's gonna make the process a lot easier. You don't have to create the bootable drive and go through all that process. Another thing that I want you to keep in mind if you're switching from a Mac to a PC, and this is something that I knew before, but I just didn't prepare for it, and I really do hate myself for it. And that is that all your external hard drives that you have for your MacBook, they will not work on Windows 10. It just happens that the format for hard drives on a MacBook is different from the ones on PC. There is a format that you can use that will work on both, and it's called exFAT. So one way that you can connect a hard drive, your existing hard drives, into both is that you have to format them into that, okay? Keep that in mind, it's a format, so all your data will be erased. What I had to do is I went out and bought a new hard drive with the same capacity of the hard drive that I already had, copied everything into there, formatted that new drive to exFAT, and then I just copied all the files into that new drive. And then from there, I can just leave it like that. You know, I can have this one for both and then have this as a backup. But if I want to use this other drive and be able to use it between both, I wouldn't have to format it into the new exFAT. And then I could copy all the files back if I want a backup, or I can just use it as a new drive. You know, just keep that in mind. If you keep your media on an external hard drive, a lot of video people do that. So keep that in mind. It's not gonna work directly into PC. You might be lucky, you might have one that's already formatted into exFAT, which will work on both. But if you don't, if you just have those that are designed specifically for Mac, you're gonna have a hard time. So just keep those two things in mind and you'll have a way smoother experience than I did. So now let me show you a little bit of benchmarks and export samples with this new setup. And I'm gonna compare it to the MacBook. Now, I'm not too much into the benchmarking and all that. I'm not entirely sure how it would compare to other computers, but in case that you were wondering and maybe considering building something similar, I'm going to include those things, and I'm also going to include the list with all the parts. If you want to build something similar, you can go ahead and use this guide. All right, guys, so here I have Premiere Pro open on my MacBook and on my PC. Now, one of the things that I did want you to notice is that even to move things around here on the interface, it is much more snappier in this new PC. I'll go here into the MacBook. Can you see that that lag over there? That's what I had to put up with a long time. So it's definitely something that I feel it's much better. Look at that. Another thing is on the playback. So here, this is a 4K video, 24 frames of 30 frames per second. It's the same clip on both. They don't have any effects. And right over here, you can see I'm already dropping 104 frames and it's very, very choppy. So I don't like that. That's what I had to put up with for a long time. Now, if you go here into the PC, I can press play and it'll run smoothly. And I'm not dropping any frames. And it's a 4K. And this one over here, it's playing back at a quarter resolution. This one is playing at half a resolution. So it's higher resolution and no stuttering, no buffering, no nothing, okay? So that's one of the reasons why I did this upgrade. Now, I want to add the same effect on both. I'm gonna add a lumetri color. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do the same on both. I'm going to do the contrast at 50. I'm not even gonna look at this. I just want to add something, some effect so that I can export it and test it out. And on the saturation, I'm gonna do 150. I might also do some curves adjustment just to give it a little bit more to work with. So here, I'm going to take this blue over here. I'm gonna try to add more saturation on the blue. Now I'm gonna jump over here and I'm gonna do the same. So contrast at 50. Saturation at 150. And then I'll go into the curves and I'll adjust the saturation on the blue up to right here. All right. So now I got them both looking about the same. Now I'm going to go ahead and export. So Command M and Control M over here. I'm going to choose the same preset. So H.264, and I'm going to choose the YouTube 4K, 2160p 4K Ultra HD. I'm going to choose that same one over here. So go into YouTube, 2160k 4K Ultra HD. I'm not going to change any of the settings. The only thing is I'll do use maximum render quality on both. So I'm going to try to put it at the same time. There we go. So just from here, this is telling me 7 minutes and 28 seconds. This one is telling me 15 seconds. This is already at 60% and that's at 3%. 100%, and it's done. Here it's still at 7%. So if I go over here, going to my export, so here I'm already playing the video, already exported from Premiere Pro, and here is still at 14%. This is just a minute and 25-second clip, and it's taking over 7 minutes. It took, because right now it's at 6 minutes and something seconds. So, you know, over 7 minutes for a 1 minute clip. That's a big difference. On this one, it exported almost at real time. So I'm really pleased with the performance. This means that I can, not only can I export things faster, but I can actually export at a higher megabits per second. So here's one other thing I can do with this, right? I can go back here and I can export, Control M. I'm gonna change render at maximum depth. Gonna do 5.2 Doesn't make a big difference. On the VBR 1 pass, we have it at VBR 1 pass 48. I'm gonna change that to 100, right? That's gonna make a difference. That's a difference in the bit rate. 4K, we're at 5.2. VBR 100 bits, megabits. Use maximum render quality, and I am going to just export this. All right. So we're still on the same export, the first export with the preset, the YouTube preset. Here it's another export at a higher bit rate, rendering at maximum bit depth, slightly better settings. And you can see this one's about to be finished again. It's at 80% and it's going fast right there. Here we're still stuck at 45%. This one I already rendered the same file, and then another file with higher settings, and it's done already, 99%. We're done. Now I have two files, one even at a higher resolution, higher bit rate. And there we go. Alright guys, so that's gonna be it for this video. I hope you guys liked it. I just wanted to share my experience for people that are thinking of building their own PC, especially those coming from a Mac ecosystem. I hope that if you do decide to go into doing this, you will have a better experience than me. So that's it for me. Be sure to leave a like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.